Oh, hi everyone. This is Sifu Z, and welcome to the Dirty Dojo. This is the 50-50 ritual, and it's rainy. Yeah, usually I'm outside, whatnot, but we've got a lot of rain going on right now for the next few days, I suppose. Uh, so we're here at the warehouse, and I'm going to take this opportunity to do something I haven't done in a while. Of course, I won't be able to do this if no one joins in on this live stream. So, but what I'm going to attempt to do today is an Ask Sifu Z. Ask Sifu Z is something I did a series back in the day, back in Hawaii. I had a series that made it to a podcast or a blog of some sort, but the audio is horrible, so I'm not going to point you to it. Although I might link to it later. The information is good. The audio is horrible. Uh, yeah, because I'm a nomad and I predominantly dwell in my vehicle, and it's a small vehicle, so there's not much I can do when it starts raining like this. Yeah, yeah. You can train in the rain, but you'd have an umbrella or wear a rain jacket or something. That's all fine. But having electronic gear out in the rain, in the moisture, yeah, that just doesn't work out. So now I have to apologize. I'm not only 6 minutes late. The reason I'm 6 minutes late is because I had to find some service, and I think right now I'm bars out of four. Uh, am I streaming all right? Can you hear me okay? Um, I compliment you on your profile icon. Uh, so I will go into the topic, the subject matter of this stream. Of course, that could all go willy nilly depending on who's involved here. Oh, wonderful! So that's beautiful writing, by the way. What is that? Tibetan or Arabic? Not quite sure. But hi, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I streaming okay? Somebody out there let me know. Uh, uh, let me know if this is okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yes, no. So I'm Sifu Z. I guess I'll kill a little bit of time here. Uh, I'm Sifu Z. I have been a Wing Chun instructor for many years. I'm a Sifu under Grandmaster Chris Chan, who is a Sifu under Grandmaster or Great Grandmaster Itman. And I have been teaching online since, since Real Player, like back in the 90s. Um, and I've been on and off various platforms, eventually landing on YouTube. And I've been on and off this platform for, well, since it was invented, before it was an advertising platform. And yeah, I've offered both a free service to the general community, um, sort of a public service of introducing the art of Wing Chun and or Wing Chun, as some like to say. Yeah, Wing Chun, Wing Chun. Some like to pronounce it with a V, a Wing Chun. Uh, and then us more American types like to say Wing Chun. There you go. But yeah, same difference, unless you're coming from the Leong Ting sect. Then I think that Wing Chun is vastly different from ours. But that's a whole nother story altogether. I still don't know if I'm streaming, if you guys are getting me here. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody has to let me know. Give me a thumbs, or hear me. Yeah. I realize if you can't hear me, you can't actually hear me asking you if you can hear me. So hopefully the sign language works. What you see here is a mukjung. It's m- misknown as a wooden dummy. However, we like to call it the wooden man, or I think mukjung is best, however that translates. And this looks like an old, ancient sort of training device, doesn't it? Well, it is, but it's also still remains kind of like the skateboard. It remains to be one of the highest tech devices in martial art training. So if you have one of these or have access to one of these, you're lucky, because this is something that we work with a lot, and it's something that Grandmaster Chris Chan is known for. uh, so my question to you guys and gals, other than can you even hear me and am I streaming properly? I'm only working with two bars here, so I'm not quite sure if this is getting out to y'all. But I am, and we'll see if it works out. I'm offering a Ask Sifu Z. So if you have any questions regarding Wing Chun, especially any common concepts that people have, good or bad or indifferent, regarding Wing Chun, this is a great opportunity to ask them. Been doing Wing Chun since about, oh, what 1992, 93, something like that. So been at it for a while. So it's not just an Ask Sifu Z, but specific as to what people's concepts of Wing Chun are. This is poignant simply because most people's concept of most martial arts can be very wide ranging. And it all, of course, depends on the practitioner, perhaps their lineage, but really mostly the practitioner. What are they doing? What are they continuing on with the martial art? What are they bringing to the martial art? Um, so this is a good opportunity. Yeah. However, I'm highly, highly suspicious that the stream might not be working, but I will go on anyway. Right? We we've got about 15 minutes or so. So I'll just ramble on here. Hopefully, someone will join in. Let me know if you can hear this stuff. So, Wing Chun, once referred to Wing Chun as a compact self defense. At one point, it was like a selling point compact self defense. And it really is a very compact sort of martial art. It's compact in its close range, and it's also compact in being able to train in the martial art. One of the main training devices that we use, and this is something that you can literally put in your back pocket, is a sandbag. This is really, for our lineage, perhaps the single most important training device, which is a bagged, double bagged sandbag. And of course, you can't put it in your back pocket full, but you can empty the sand that's in it and and carry it around with you. And then you could put clean sand in there, or you can even put rice or beans, that sort of thing. Got 1 second, please. There we go. Now, another thing that we use, and it very much is part of the Wing Chun exercise, is the Bart John Doe or the butterfly swords. So this is a very important tool. Probably a lot of you might think of this as a weapon, which but I think of a weapon and more of a training aid, something to help you understand, because you can replace this with anything, a rolled up newspaper. You can also use this as a weight. These are really heavy. Some are made out of plastic or aluminum and are very lightweight. Well, look at this. It looks like we're both sticks and bricks bound. It,
Oh, hello. What?
it, it
I gotta adjust. I got you on here, but this microphone is horrible. Uh,
Yeah, hopefully my microphone is well, you can let me know. And finally, uh
yeah, I'm gonna throw in these
can can you hear
other
me
ones.
okay?
Yeah, I think it's connected now.
I can hear you pretty
All right, we're
well. No,
good.
I can't.
Yep, I hear you. I'm.
Okay.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I think the stream is
Oh, I.
struggling to connect.
Oh no, it was. I went off of YouTube to go to my settings to ensure that I was connected or not because I wasn't hearing anything, and then I opened the window back again, so it probably just cut me out because of that.
I
Yeah.
I only have 2 bars, but I am 5G 2 bars. I'm not sure if that is affecting the stream or not.
Oh, okay. I hear you good though. You're clear in my on my end so far.
Am I buffering okay visually, the
Yes.
video? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I was just sort of taking up some time before you got here, uh, letting the folks know about the various training aids. I've gone over the sandbag, now the Barcham dough. Talked a little bit about the Mukjung. I know all this already, right? Uh, and then I'm not going to pull them out, but we also have the 9 foot pole, which again I consider more a training aid than a weapon. Although it's by no means a misnomer to think of these things as weapons. And you sort of approach the usage of them as weapons. I mean, I'm not trying to say that they're not for that. I'm trying to say that I look at these things as more as training devices than weapons.
Mhm.
Um, and Yeah, the 9 pole is great for manipulating arms, especially from here to here, and manipulating, doing arm drags, stuff like that. The pole is great for the Barcham Do are great for developing your wrist strength, and uh, and then I can't pontificate enough on the value of sandbag training. Uh, Although, if you want to hear me pontificate, go to any of our live streams prior to this one. And yeah, we always talk about uh, the value and benefits of a sandbag training. Um, those are the tools if you have the space and place for them. Of course, there's no excuse to not have a sandbag. Um, there's plenty of excuse to not carry around uh, swords and a barchom dough and a 9 foot pole. I mean, you really do have a good excuse there. Well, I just can't carry them around. However, you can still learn. You can do the invisible mukjung form, which we often do, and you can take any long pole and work with it. Uh, and as far as barchom dough, you can take any heavy pole or stick or bunch up a newspaper. So um, you can always sort of find substitutes for these things. Of course, the main thing that we do in Wing Chun that requires absolutely nothing, you could actually do it naked. I've done it naked, but we won't go there right now. I did the first form of Seoum Tao. This is this was my first few months, maybe my first few weeks in Wing Chun. So I was very new to Wing Chun.
I like how you
And
said we're not gonna go there, and we're going straight
and then
there.
we're going there. Oh no, I just want to make sure you don't get the wrong idea. I want to give you a little something to look forward to for like a later discussion. But but in my naivete, I used the naked Seoum Tao form in a self-defense manner, which is absolutely absurd because we don't really use Seoum Tao for self-defense, or that's not the application portion of the three forms. But anyway, well, let's get back on the track here. The real value of Wing Chun is this Kimima, is the Sealam Tao. No, we're not going to get naked and do the Sealam Tao. Yes, I'll tell the story some other time. uh, but this standing meditation, we've really kind of talked about this a lot the last stream. Actually focused on the last stream, we did a standing meditation, and then we did a guided sitting breathing meditation. I don't know if you caught last week's stream, um, but it's a good one. I'm, the content is good. I'm not sure about the delivery. I don't do a lot of guided breathing meditation type stuff. I've done thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, millions. I don't know how many standing meditations I've done. I feel quite comfortable doing those, but guided breathing meditations are kind of new to me. So, but the idea is important, and that is standing meditation sort of comes from um, the sitting meditation, the standard sitting breathing meditation that we're all familiar with, or m- many of us are familiar with. And if you've even tried breathing meditation and you've really worked at it, you'll know that it's a very challenging exercise to um, to do. It's just challenging, you know. And I know it's challenging because the number one misnomer that I hear about breathing meditation is, man, I have a real hard time clearing my mind. Or I really like breathing meditation because it allows me to just clear my mind. That's how I know you're not really understanding meditation and the exercise of meditation. There may be some version of meditation that you're doing that's valid, but the meditation that I'm familiar with, that I hear a lot from neuroscientists and cognitive psychologists and stuff like that, they speak of this sort of sitting meditation where you're sitting, focusing, attempting to focus on your breath, but allowing all the stimuli to sort of come and go, not allowing to park or take up residence in your brain. Rather, it comes, rather, a thought, a sound, all these various stimuli that distract you from focusing on your breath comes in, and then you let it. That's the actual exercise. So if you're saying, well, it helps me to clear my mind, and I just maybe as a benefit, a post benefit, but meditate while you're meditating. That's not to my knowledge and understanding of what you use meditation for. We use that breathing meditation in order to stop and observe the brain running on automatic, because indeed we can go through lives in automatic. In fact, most of us do. The difference between a normal person and, in my opinion, a Wing Chun person is being cognizant and in control of your behaviors and your emotions, your behaviors and your emotions. Right? Because otherwise, you go ahead and not be cognizant of those things. Sort of get pulled this way, pulled that way. Your emotional manipulation is a great way to get people to do things. You manipulate their emotions, and boom, there they are. They're doing stuff. They're swinging. They're punching. They're oh yeah, all kinds of response behaviors come from manipulating one's emotions, right? A person's
Right.
emotions, or even your own emotions, right?
Yeah, that's probably one of the bigger ones is not being manipulated by your own emotions. Um,
Yes. Yeah, or at least not unwittingly,
yeah,
manipulated.
yeah, not unwillingly or yeah, unwillingly, right? Because that could
Wittingly,
be
witting.
unwitting.
Oh, it's all unwilling.
It's all, yeah, exactly, because it's all unwilling.
It's all unwilling, but unwitting.
It's
Yes.
self-engineered.
Precisely. So, now and I realize that I'm almost using all this time, the previous pod, the, more valuable insight from, two minds on this. So, one of the things that you'll find if you earnestly do sitting, breathing meditation is how hard it is for that's a very
Yeah,
challenging thing. Now, it's challenging to 50% of the population. I hear 50% of the population doesn't have self talk, or I have no idea how they do anything, but apparently 50% could probably not benefit um, from meditation. Unless, of course, that lack of self talk is a negative thing for them. Then again, they could probably do a meditation. And okay, so now let's talk about that in relation to our Kimi Ma. Both of us have probably been going in and out of Kimi Ma this whole time.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but let's talk about in relation to Kimi Ma, in relation to Sealam Tao. Again, the challenging thing is with sitting breathing meditation is actually focusing, um, or the so-called problem. The challenge, there we go. That's a much better word. That's the word I'm trying to use because it's not a problem. It's a challenge. The challenge is having that control to just focus on your breath. That's the challenge. Now, it's like any exercise. If that challenge doesn't exist, well, then it's the exercise is of no value, right? There has to be some resistance, some sort of challenge. So, in a breathing meditation, that challenge is trying to focus on your breath while all this other stimulus is going on. There's a bird, there's the wind, there's the thought from 5 years ago. There's a thought from 2 hours ago. There's, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I'm just sitting here for 5 minutes meditating. It's a wonderful challenge, and you really don't think about it until you stop for like 5 minutes a day and go, okay, I'm just going on my breath, and in that 5 minutes, you really gotten a minute at best, a minute worth of just focusing on the breath without anything interrupting that.
right.
Okay, now I think I've gotten that across. The 50% thing, where 50% don't have anything going on. I know that is so almost impossible for me to conceive of. Like
Yeah,
until I think until I
I'd
think
have to hear
about
the
like
source. Like, who said that?
Until I think about people and how, we often will go, man, why are people so stupid?
So stupid.
But I don't know. I mean, there could be conscious brain, overly intelligence has much to do with maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think, sometimes, I think the same things like, oh man, these stupid people, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, I see myself doing something stupid after I've already done it. And I'm like, wow, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
just at that time and place instead of their time and place of when they were stupid. Now here I am being stupid in my time and place. Oh gosh, dude. Yeah.
We all take turns being idiots and morons. One second here.
Yeah, it would appear so, man.
Yeah.
Definitely
And
taking
you know,
turns.
I think it's so important to sort of make this
Yeah.
that your intelligence will, will cover me, and
Right.
vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good relationship. I think men and women in their relationships, or people to partner up. Um, I think a successful relationship really depends on that dynamic of one sort of taking over the other's weaknesses. Although I
Yeah.
do think they sometimes institutionalize those weaknesses, you know, like, oh, I can't do that. I need Bob to do that. Or I need, oh, I don't do that. Sally always does that.
Yeah, as long as
Uh,
they don't completely give up the idea that they're completely incapable. Um,
right.
it's like you're not completely incapable. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all human
Well,
beings, and human beings can do a lot of things. And if they're human and you're human, then technically you've got the potential to do the same thing as that human.
yeah.
I mean,
You,
there's certain things that are acceptances that are outliers, like a dwarf or a small person trying to change a light bulb and someplace high. Like yeah, sure, yeah, get Bob. He's 6 feet tall. Change that light bulb, But
well, being a dwarf
anyway,
myself, I could tell you, it's probably how I got into climbing, trying to get that light bulb as a dwarf. Yeah. Climbing up
pygmy.
shelves,
It was a
climbing on
pygmy.
walls.
Pygmy man. Pygmy man.
So, um, now this is what I wanted to get at, and that is with the kimima, with our siomtao, with our goat grasping or sheep grasping stance, and with our postures, our healing cells, our tonsils, our bon cells, right? Our wu cell. I'm sorry, let me back up just a little bit. If meditation is a lot like the advances in understanding in meditation are a lot like the advances in exercise. What's happened here is instead of taking a whole hours or days to meditate, we now know that just doing 5 minutes a day of meditation can be really good for your brain and your body in general. It's all connected,
Yeah.
right? Only 5 minutes. And they've also understood this about exercise at least 3 days a week, 20 minutes a day, for at least 3 days a week for exercise or even activity that you can call exercise, maybe walking, running, gardening, whatever. And they found that 20 minutes is sufficient. It's good. And only 5 minutes. Now, that's a really awesome thing to know because now, all these, the health industry is really missold health by saying, oh, you should exercise all this amount, you should have these tools to exercise. And man, it's just, it's not true. So now these facilities are great for nomads to go shower, maybe great place to pick up on the opposite sex. But I think they have a different function rather than if you're just really into fitness. Well, then that's really doable by anyone now. Um, so same thing. Oh, okay. So, but prior to knowing this, we had hour-long sessions, hours, sometimes days of meditating or exercising or doing marathons or whatever it might be. Now, the problem with breathing, sitting meditation for more than like 15, 20 minutes. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, once you do clear everything, man, you flatline. You're like, "Beep," that's not meditation, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things they did early on, I don't know how early on, but probably pretty early on in the conventional the convention of meditation, they had to do this early on, which is okay. We got let's just refer to the Shaolin. They had all these guys, maybe a lot of homeless guys even. There's a root there. Um, that they wanted to be Shaolin monks because they get fed. It wasn't as easy as they thought, especially the hard work was the easy part. Working the farm, working is that's easy for humans to just get up and do stuff.
Yeah.
Getting a human to stop and to think and to focus and to really get control of the brain function, that's really difficult. And that was the attempt, and still is the attempt, right? And so early on, I feel that they had to have learned this, that to get people to meditate without falling asleep, you have to not have them sit down. You got to have them standing, right?
You know,
I
when I used to take kendo, when I was younger, in my teens, we would all do a meditation before we trained. And I don't remember how long the meditation was. I think it was 15 minutes. And it was, Japanese, I guess, style meditation or kendo style meditation. We would all, sit on our knees with our feet, tucked behind us and cup our hand, much like this right here. Right? Kind of
Yeah,
go like this with an upright posture and just close our eyes and just they didn't tell us to breathe or like what kind of breathing to do or anything like that. But yeah, some people would doze off. They would but I don't know, they said something like, oh, like, and this was just like amongst the students, they're like, oh, they said that, like, once you're actually meditating, you should see green or something like that, but I didn't really buy it.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really buy the whole like you see green. I'm like, well, I don't know. I see a lot of colors behind my eyelids. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I close my eyelids, it's like a galaxy of colors. Like,
Yeah, like a hyper rainbow.
yeah, yeah, like a thermo heat map of like spotted blotches that change all the time. I don't know if anybody else gets that when they close their eyes. Maybe. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so they say that those long ponytails that a lot of the Shaolin had, those
Mm.
long ponytails, they actually use those to tie up to rafters so their heads wouldn't nod down, so they could actually still fall asleep, but their heads would still remain up. I don't know if
No,
that's
that's
true.
a joke, right? Come
I
on.
don't know. I don't know. Because
That brought the ancient that's the historic meaning to the string attached to the top of your head for posture.
right, totally,
Yeah,
totally. So I don't know. To every
wouldn't doubt
joke,
it.
there's always, especially to every good joke, there's always a string of truth, right? So,
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
right. So that could have been, but there's certainly, you could certainly see how there would be these young monks or beginning monks, and they just try to cheat, like like everybody tries to cheat. That's what humans do. Cheat is, as I've learned in Chinatown in Hawaii, kung fu is another word for cheating. Very interesting. I've seen
Cheat.
signs in Chinatown that say no kung fu, no kung fu. Right, so no
Really?
cutting in line. Yeah, yeah. If you go into Chinatown, Hawaii, they got they got
Oh,
real.
I never noticed that. I never knew that
Yeah,
that word
I
could be
wish.
substituted for a cheat.
Well, the Chinese use it. I don't know. I've never heard it from a European. In fact, I've
Yeah.
never heard it anywhere other than in Hawaii. And
Huh.
and that store, by the way, was smack dab in between, right on the street level of what, Hotel Street, I believe it is. That main drag down there, and
Mm.
our
The Hawaii Theater
our
one?
school, or Bethel. I think it's, no, no, no. We were on Bethel. Yeah,
We were
Hotel
on
Street.
Bethel with Hawaii. Yeah, we were on Bethel Street with Hawaii Theater on there. Hotel Street was the street one more over, I think.
Right. Okay. But we had our school, and then the other kung fu school that's been there forever.
Oh, Fort Street Mall.
Right. That's what I'm talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Fort Street Mall. There's no cars that go up and down. It's all pedestrian traffic. That's the one you're talking about, right?
oh, no, 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 no. I'm talking about the
No.
one with. But anyway, there's
Yeah,
the Ong King Art
yeah,
Center was also
yeah.
where that maybe they moved to Fort Street, but no, they're
Maybe
on
they did.
on
Yeah.
on the road there, and it was smack dab in between. This store that had the sign "No Kung Fu" was smack dab in between the two kung fu schools, which I thought was funny. You know, but I'm sure none of our students were using any kung fu. But what they're really talking about there was old men that use little sneaky kung fu moves in order to cut line, or to cheat to get more, maybe uh, put their finger, lift their finger up the scale, so the stuff,
Yeah.
all kinds of things that kung fu masters do, because it's all.
Yeah.
Douglas Wong wrote a book called The Deceptive Hands of Wing Chun, which is another sort of giveaway to um, how people look, how the Chinese look at Wing Chun, at Kung Fu in general. Wing Chun specifically, Wing Chun is such a trap, right? I mean, you have your arms up here, and these are a trap. When you touch these things, it sets off a trap.
Hmm.
These are almost like bait. These things that we put out,
It's the mouse. It's
and
the mouse trap. As soon as you touch it, that thing goes snap.
right, right. So it is very much trickery. So
Yeah.
and it is that trickery that we have to get control of. Now I'm going full circle here with the value of meditation in martial art, in fighting skill. One of my Wing Chun 101 first class, first demonstration I do two things. I don't know if you recall those two things or not. but I won't put you on the spot here.
Um, I think the first one, I just remember getting punched really hard, really
That's
close.
one. That's one.
And then we did Town for a long time. That's about all I
Okay, but
remember.
there's another thing I always do is I do the no inch punch.
Yeah.
We should call that something else. Call it the Kimmy Ma punch or something, right? And then I also do the anticipatory push.
Yeah, when we were following Tao. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I these days I don't even put you through the seal and towel. I'll show you. I'll just say get your best stance, and then
Oh, okay.
I'll give him the punch, and then I'll say, okay, now again, give me your best stance, however you want to stand, and then I do the anticipatory push. Those things are directly connected to your meditation, your sitting or your standing meditation. And that is, what do you think makes the person anticipate the push? No control of the brain. Now here's an interesting thing. There have been people, not many, but there have been people where I would do the anticipatory push and they didn't anticipate it. They were also like dumb as rocks or drunk or stoned and they had no idea what was going on. Their brain wasn't even. They're like,
Right. Yeah, like they didn't actually
and
understand
you go boom, and you're like,
what was
damn,
happening.
bro, you don't need any training. You're there.
You're a kung fu master. All right, go on your way.
Of course, this isn't true because if
No, yeah,
you
yeah.
know if you punched them in the mouth and then
That's
got them going and then did the whole thing, it would be different. But them just sort of going,
yeah.
uh huh, you know. But there's the
Yeah.
relation. See that relationship again because there are some people that go, okay, focus on your breath. Okay. And they're
Yeah, and
there.
they really focus on it. Yeah, they really focus on it.
Like, hold on.
I'll
Yeah.
notice.
You don't hear, you didn't see the bear? You didn't see the bear that just walked across the basketball? Yeah, you probably saw that neuro experiment
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
how many times did they bounce the basketball?
yeah. They didn't care.
And they
There's a
go,
freaking
"Oh,
bear walking around them, dude.
they bounced the basketball 15 times." Okay. Um, what color was the bear that walked across the screen while you were counting? Oh, huh? And so they when you focus on something, you don't see a lot of other stuff. It's just a human condition of the
Yeah,
brain.
yeah,
And so, what Wing Chun is helping us to do is to get beyond these th- this type of conditioning that we all have, and we all kind of, or at least 50%. Again, I don't know about this other 50%. I just
I
don't
don't
know.
know either, man. I'm just praying that it's not 50. But
Yeah, yeah.
there's that song, man, the predictive song that the odds be 50-50.
No, I don't. Yeah. Um, yes, yes. So the now I've got I'm going to be honest. I'm saying the same damn thing I said last stream, but I really wanted to do that stream with you. So I'm just doing it again, dang it.
Sorry,
And it's
man.
worth no, oh no, it's worth reiterating. Definitely worth
Yeah.
reiterating.
I'll
Let
let
me
you
show
know
you
that,
this.
yeah, last week, as you know, we were going to start, the snow removal team came earlier, one day earlier, and my roommate's car was not moved, and it was snowed in, and I had to do that work
Yeah.
when I didn't want to. And anyways, yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. I
Oh,
really didn't want
no
to.
worries, man.
I was
But
anyways,
here we are.
yeah, what's going on?
We are on the topic, and I really like talking to you about this topic because you're probably more qualified than your average Joe in regards to meditation. You were raised around meditation and that sort of thing. Meditation for me is relatively new. I mean, meditation for me was what everyone else thought it was. So, and then I've done a meditation, chant meditation, like the whole Nam Myoho Renge Kyo kind of thing, or whatever you chant, like Om
Yeah,
or whatever. You've got
yeah.
those kinds of chants, all kinds of meditation, but the very common ones, the chanting meditation, breathing meditation, and then the standing meditation. I like all three of them. I use
Mhm.
all three of them and I have used all three of them, but becoming more and more clear on the purpose. I think I approached these things prior to Wing Chun. I approached these things more in a novel, maybe spiritual kind of a thing. And boy, you're really missing out if that's your approach because meditation, all three forms of those forms of meditation are physically very beneficial. You don't need to attach any spirituality to it. Not to my understanding. It doesn't seem to make sense. I think you disqualify a lot of the value when you spiritualize these practices. You know.
Yeah, yeah. There's such an interesting. Uh, you just say, can I say feud about it? Because
Mm, yes.
yeah,
Well, and it's a valid feud because, right, our brains, we don't have full agency. We don't
yeah.
have as much agency as we'd like to have, like as we wish we did sometimes.
I know it's funny. We like to pride ourselves so much sometimes, and then when it comes to just sitting down and just like concentrating on your breath, you're like, I can't do this. Oh, I can't. What?
And
Uh,
that is that's somebody that's really learned something when you say I
right.
can't do it and you just keep trying anyway. It's like, okay, here we are, another 5 minutes going to be wasted today.
No. Yeah, I
It's like, oh my
know.
god. Yeah. And so we're gonna have to tie this up pretty quick here. I wanted to say we talked about the chanting one's easy because especially if you're doing like a long complicated chant, your brain is focused on the Mario
Right.
Robo Chicken blah 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 blah, right?
No,
and,
myoho renge kyo, no,
uh,
myoho renge
and
kyo.
then
I will see plus obo.
with the standing meditation, you're doing your postures and you're focusing on the sequence and the coordination and the alignment of your postures. So your brain again
Right.
has something to do. That sitting breathing meditation, at least to me, and I think probably for different people, different ones are harder or easier, right? I like that there are three kinds of meditation because if the standing one doesn't work for you, you could try the other two, or whatever, right? Again, I like all three. When my brain, if I'm highly stressed, then a chanting meditation really helps to get the vibration. And I'm using that word in such a BS manner, but But you know what I mean when I say that, because sound has a vibration, and you're kind of controlling that vibration, right, through
Yeah.
sound. Um, uh, or or by doing a thing, not doing a thing that you go, oh, I got to do something, but rather go, oh, I got to do something. Let me meditate on this, right? You can use the standing physical meditation, um, but that silent meditation, boy, that's to me the hard one, man. To be able to just focus on that one thing for 5 minutes and have your mind just focus on nothing but the breath, or it could be anything. It could be a clock, or or something. But I think the breath is the hardest.
I also think the breath is probably most beneficial too. Um,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
However, I think there is a standing equivalent.
Mm. Standing meditation, Tao, while also doing the breath.
Kind of. It's
Yeah.
an element you can add to any of them, and that is, where is your visual focus? Because if
Oh,
you
okay.
add,
Yeah, that's
once
right.
you know your postures,
Yeah.
I challenge you to have your focus, have the Wing Chun focal range, I'm going to call it, which is your wrist. Your extended wrist is your focal range, but
Yeah.
without anything being there. So for
Yeah.
some, I say it. Some, it might be so impossible to focus on a point that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
that is like just fixated. That may be impossible for some. For those, I say hang a string or hang a ball, and then focus on that,
Yeah.
and then that
Imagine.
will help.
Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. Imagining a point, giving yourself a physical point, like a ball or something like that. If you think of a gas molecule floating right there, little gas molecule. Yeah. No, I just, I'm just spewing at this
Well,
point.
whatever gets you there,
Whatever
um,
gets you there, yes.
whatever
There's a
gets you there.
point. There's a point there.
I find it a super clear void. Like, instead of a gray or a black void, I see it as a light, a white light, like a void that's
Oh,
like
like a little orb.
nothing. Yeah, like nothing. Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah,
Yeah, like a
like
little
a
orb.
little orb, um, that just
It's
and
floating
everything
there.
else is blurry around it, but this little orb that's in front of me is super clear.
You
Again, it's
know,
hard.
that reminds me. I think it was like after a year of training with you, and I was like really in the like in the mode of early progression, I guess you could say, and understanding and applying my thoughts. So I drew a character figure like this, right? And in that figure's radius, actually, it didn't start from the elbows, or it didn't start from the wrist, though. It was actually for the immovable elbow idea. But there's the point here, and then the orb was around that point. But now, yeah, imagine the point here and the orb around this point, right? Oh, that's got two orbs going around. That's trippy.
Yeah, and then there's also the kung fu ring, the rattan, the wooden
Yeah, I
ring.
actually have
Some are
one.
metal.
Yeah, I have a
So
metal one.
there's those that also help you to control your elbow movement and consider. I was just thinking of this morning, driving around, because I was driving around and I was just kind of working, using Fuchs out to kind of let the wheel turn and doing different stuff. I was like, the only thing that's missing from this being a true wing kung fu wheel is that it goes this way, it has
Right, yeah,
movement
yeah.
in and out. And then I was thinking, well, but the resistance of the steering wheel is quite nice. It's nice to have that. But it's
Mm.
also being able to turn it on axis in and out is an important benefit
Pivot.
of that ring. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't use. I've never really used those simply because our immovable elbow is even tighter than that
Yeah,
ring.
it is. It is. Yeah. You know what's funny? What I actually I don't really use that much either. But I guess when I'm bored, people that take that rings training seriously are gonna laugh at me. When I'm bored, I just put it around my forearm and I just spin it as fast as I can.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a whole there's a whole what business, not the industry, that's the word. There's a whole industry on that called fidget spinners, right? Little fidget things, the kung fu
It looks
fidget
kind of
something or other.
cool. Like if I had two and I was doing it, it would look pretty. It would look pretty cool. But the challenge is because it can't be like meaningless, right? So the challenge is to get it to go around as fast as you can with as little movement as you can. So it's like very very subtle
Oh
movement in
yeah,
your
yeah.
yeah. You try to make it as little movement as possible.
Oh
But
yeah, you get
that's
that's sort of that's almost isometric
it is,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah, it kinda
exercise.
is, it
Yeah,
is, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, trying to just have it only on the wrist, very little on the wrist, and then bring it up to the forearm, and very, very little at the forearm, and then middle, and in a
yeah.
way, it almost kinda, like, highlights that sensory zone, you know? Your
Hmm.
forearm sensory zone. But, like I said, I was just kinda digging around with it, and then I was like, "Oh, I can make a little exercise out of this," like,
Well, you
because
might
it's not
have
helping my
something there.
elbows get in any tighter. My elbows are already tight enough,
Hey, now let me see you do it with both. You know,
I
both
yeah, with
arms
both,
in.
yeah.
Woo! That would be
I
wild.
mean, you could probably do it. That would actually be a really good pectoral exercise.
Yeah, yeah,
Back and forth.
yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah, yeah. Those rings though, I don't really use them that much. Um,
So it would be interesting if anyone listening to this or watching this now or when it's archived, it would be very interesting to know if you guys do any of those three meditation forms: the chanting meditation, the standing meditation, and the breathing meditation. It would be interesting to know if any of you out there do any of those or all three or combinations of those. It would also be very interesting to know which ones are the hardest. My assumption is going to be the breathing one is hardest, but that may be a gross assumption. It would be nice to know. Um, maybe it's
Seum
something.
with the breathing, I think is the hardest.
Oh, the infinite breathing, Seum Tao infinite
Yes,
breathing.
Simtao
Oh,
infinite breathing,
okay,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
is the
Well,
hardest because it's two in one.
well, I'm glad
You
you.
know,
I'm glad you brought that up because that's so dang hard. I've even forgotten about it.
I've I've tried to perpetuate it as a habit. I don't always succeed, and sometimes I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
it's a hard one. How crazy is that? That
Yeah,
just simply doing Seum Tao postures, but adding the infinite eight breathing to it, or any controlled breathing. It doesn't have to be my infinite eight. Any controlled breathing, focusing on the breathing while doing Seal Tao. Yeah, that's that. Now I got to go do one.
me
Now,
too. I know
yeah.
it's up there. It's up there.
Now, check it out. Typically, we do a 50-50. half of this session we then do over at patreon.com/cfuz. Because of the rain, and because of because I gotta get out of here. I can't stand these four walls. I have truly gotten phobic, being inside structures. I realize what it is. Yeah, I can't be indoors. I'm an outdoor animal. That's precisely what's going on here. So, so yeah, I gotta get out of here. But I did want to do a nice long public stream, and really go over the stuff that we did last stream. If you want to do a breathing meditation, it's got to be the first guided meditation I've ever done. So be nice. But you can go over to last week's stream and check it out and see, and experience those things. Sam Harris is probably one of the more popular people that do talking guided breathing meditations. It's actually the first time I've ever done a breathing meditation was with Sam Harris's app. I think it's called Making Sense. He has a meditation thing going on there. But I'm sure there's tons of I like Sam Harris because it's about as secular of a meditation as you're going to get, right? Um, Most other meditation practices, you're going to have to, I don't know, you had to do something spiritual, something weird. Right, which again, it can be debated, the functionality of that weirdness. It can be debated, and I think it's a good debate. I mean, I think it's a debate that branches out into other facets, right? Do we need to spiritualize? There's a good question for you guys. Do you feel the need to spiritualize and exercise, or an activity? Is spiritualizing a thing important to you? And if it is, why?
Dude, that is
Um,
such a deep topic for the Zeker Caravan on Sunday. We should bring
yes,
that
it
up.
is. See,
Yeah.
we're branching
Do
out
you have
here,
the
man.
need? What gives one the need to spiritualize, or the want
Yeah,
to spiritualize?
or to fictionalize, or to sport eyes,
Competitize.
to politicize. What it boy, is that a topic, because some really, and again, I don't think it has a lot to do with intelligence, because there are perfectly intelligent people that spiritualize or religiousize, things, stuff, right? And I think there's people that exist on both sides of the intellectual spectrum, yeah, on this. So I don't think that the debate is has been resolved at all. And
Yeah.
I think we're only beginning to, because unless of course you're doing messed up stuff and using your fictionalizing to validate your messed up behavior.
If that's the case, then then GTFO,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, off the table.
Get the
That's
fuck
off the
out.
table.
Yeah.
But if spiritualizing, religiousizing, politicizing, whatever it is, actually allows you to live a fulfilling life, and it doesn't tread upon others' ability to have a fulfilling life, then you can't say anything too wrong about it, right? But I think there's a line that is crossed on both sides, where on one side they disrespect another person's beliefs, And on the other side, they use their beliefs to validate messed up behavior. So the line is getting crossed by both sides, by both camps. And I think there has to be a really important understanding that placebos have been used since the dawn of time. When somebody uses the word placebo, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable or beneficial. And then the argument is should we know about placebos? Like, will a placebo work if you know you're taking a sugar pill? Right? So
Yeah.
there's a catch 22 there, you
Does a
know?
fallen tree make a noise if no one's there to hear it? Well, there was a
So
squirrel there, so yeah. Yes.
I think when you make claims, you have to perhaps qualify it as I'm going to make an objective claim or I'm going to make a subjective claim.
Or a
Because object,
hypothesis. Make a hypothesis,
oh,
perhaps.
well, let's not go into that pool. That's a dirty
And
pool right there.
an educated guess. Well, how far does your education extend? Okay, we'll stop there. We'll stop
Yeah, it was. Oh
there.
man, I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and boy, we're going overtime here. But well, I'm making up for the fact that we're. I'm going to cut short. We're not doing a private one today. We'll do it next week, weather permitting.
Roger.
Um. Oh hell, and that just made me lose the
The
thought. What did you
conversation
just?
about hypothesis with someone the other day,
Oh, right.
or something,
He
something along those
this
lines.
individual was about to go off on um some science related stuff, right? Maybe, flat earth or maybe moon landing or maybe chemtrails or I don't know. Any one of those. I could tell he was going that direction. And I shut him up so fast. I asked him one simple question. What's 8 times 8, bro? You don't know
what,
what 8
what
times 8 is.
what did he say? He actually said he didn't know, or did he actually make a
No,
guess?
he just shut up. He's like, ah! Like, yeah, that's what I thought. See, if you don't know your times tables, then if you knew what 8 times 8 was, I would just go up another rung on the ladder of basic questions that you
12 and
better not
12.
even don't even go up there until we've kind of gotten past the basics. Like, I love when people try to. Well, I'm like, really? Okay, what's your proof on that? And then they send me a link, and the person that's speaking isn't even speaking proper English. It's just by the second sentence, I just stop. I just stop. I'm like, they're illiterate. So your proof is coming from an illiterate person that my guess is doesn't know their times tables either. Now, not knowing your times tables is fine, but just shut up about all the other stuff. Like if it's more complicated than times tables, shut up. Just shut up. I don't want to hear from you. You're an idiot. Stop. Stop it. Just stop. Go learn your multiplication table. All right. That's just step one. Let's not even talk algebra. Let's not talk physics, basic physics, not yeah. So I'm giving some of you some intellectual weaponry here. I'm giving you something here. Yeah, you're not walking away with just this old guy just yapped on for 74 minutes straight. Giving you something valuable here. When somebody wants to talk some scientific nonsense, ask them what 7 times 8 is. Just ask them. maybe look on your phone yourself and make sure you know what 7 times 8 is. But just
Six
go,
six.
well, what's yeah, yeah. Who cares?
I'm Asian.
My answer would be, who cares? I'm not talking any of this nonsense. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and I don't know. No, there are things I do know really don't require the multiplication table. They don't require it. That's things like Hien Sao. Hien Sao means circling hand. Fuk Sao. Fuk Sao means hooking hand. See? No multiplication required. That's all I'm going to talk. That's all I'm going to talk with great authority on. And dealing with emotions, dealing with your intellect and your emotion. These are two things I've gotten really good at because I'm still alive. I shouldn't be. Right? So
Yeah,
these are things I feel really good at, like dealing with a brain that's trying to kill you, and let alone the other people. The other people are nothing in comparison to this one, right? Um, yeah, and folk style, healing style, meditation, stuff like that. No math needed, none. But
no,
if you're going to start talking about all the other stuff that require physics and algebra and I don't know, all the other
chemistry,
stuff,
biology.
chemistry, biology require all that stuff, then you better know your times tables. Okay. Up to like, I don't know, 12, maybe
If you're
13.
gonna talk science, you better know some science, man. You
Yeah.
can't just know the
Yeah.
titles of the articles, man.
Or parrot the information that you heard. Like that's what people have gotten really good at. They go, "Oh, I heard a guy and he was convincing, so I'm going to talk just like him." you know, that's what I loved about Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman did not speak like an intellect.
Nah,
Boy,
dude,
was
Richard
he an
Feynman was
intellect.
the man. Yeah, I mean, he was the one that that
He was
right
the
because
one everything.
he was the one everything. Yeah. Oh, but what am I trying to say? But as far as teaching wise goes, wasn't he the one that said the quote? You know, if you can't teach it to a 4-year-old, you don't know what the hell you're talking
That's right. That's right.
about. Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
So that's why he
Yeah.
was, because he would explain it very simply to people, really taking Occam's razor to another level of delivering the simplest explanation for a great thing in a simple way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not
He-
to say that the complexity isn't there, but if you can't simplify the complexity, then you haven't done
right.
the work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you get these
You got to be
people
able to
that
simplify.
that just take the complexity verbatim. That's like, okay, well, how do I know you're just not mimicking the words that you heard? That
Yeah.
you're not really signifying that you understand. Um, when
Mark, you said
uh,
this. Mark, you said this. Mark.
Yeah, I did that with E equals MC square. I got real into E equals MC square at a point there back in Hawaii because I knew some intellectuals. I'm saying, explain E equals MC square. And they would just parrot E equals MC square. Not one of them gave a decent, like, kind of basic layout of E equals MC square. Of course, now that question has been asked so much that you can essentially say, yeah, energy, uh, yeah, the constant
Matt
of
is
uh,
isn't it mass times the speed of light squared equals the energy?
energy equals the constant squared. The constant squared, E equals MC mass moving at the constant
Mass. And
squared. Yeah.
I think C, yeah, C is the variable for
Speed,
light, for the
right,
speed of
is
light.
the speed of light.
Light
Yeah.
squared. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what does
Just
that
had to remember
mean,
my
though?
remind
Right? You
myself.
can. That's an easy thing to say. That
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
energy is equal to mass moving the speed
Yeah.
of light squared. right? To the
Yeah, I
power of
mean,
two.
when you say it in simplified equation, it's nice to say like, oh well, the E equals the mass of an object times the speed of light squared. It's like, okay, can you say that? Like, give me an example. Like, weigh that fucking apple.
Yeah, yeah, right.
You know, like weigh that apple. And tell
Yeah,
me, what's its energy? You right? I mean,
yeah.
and stuff like that, right? Just
And then also like
being
things like
able to
relativity, right?
dissect it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, relativity is one of those as well where I I've had I've had guys argue with me, oh, you don't know what relativity is. I'm like, well, I'm sure you don't really know either, but I have trusted some very good scientists on this and have come to understand that the word was used because that word actually has meaning. Like it's all relative. It's like, well, that's not what relativity means. Well, it kind of does. It kind of does, moron,
relative
intellectual moron.
insinuates that there is a relationship between one or other variables or all variables in whatever
Well,
way.
and your experience is relative, right? Relative to
Yes.
your time and space and place, where you
Yeah.
now we start talking about the Heisenberg principle. But anyway, let's get off of
Anyway,
this.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
I will see you Sunday. If you want to join us on Sunday, we do that over at the Zeekers Caravan, My Best Life at Zeekers Caravan. And that's just, a fun stream. It's not all heavy and serious like this. Uh, this is brought to you by Sifuz.com. That's the place to go to learn a sustainable method of fitness and a practical method of self defense. This is also brought to you by Zeigler8.com. That's Zeigler, the number 8.com. That's the hub for all things Z. That's me. That over there is Chad Ventures. If you haven't done so already, go over to his channel, subscribe. He is not a gynecologist, but a geoscientist. Am I getting this right yet? Yes,
yeah.
yes. And so, if you're into rocks and geology and just cool stuff, then yeah, you just go ahead. It's a simple decision that you can make. Go over and subscribe to Chad Ventures. And yeah, I'll assume you've already subscribed to here. If you haven't, shame on you.
How dare?
We do this every Friday, even if it's hard to do, even if I have to come indoors. uh, we do this every Friday at 9:30 California time. And once the weather and stuff starts getting better, we'll probably bump this up to more days in the week. It fluctuates. When the weather's good, and the reception's good, we get to do these streams more often. But right now, with the weather and things being what they are, we almost absolutely always do Friday 9:30 a.m. California time. I want to thank Sifu Chad for joining us. I want to thank all of you for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, you know, especially someone that's trying to, get it together, pull center, right? Because that's what we do over here. Aloha.